everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So let's talk about this Unity Commission. Essentially the thing that's been, they've been screaming unity into every mic that they can find between the convention and now, the present. And even Sanders and Perez has started to jump around the United States, going from stage to stage to stage, screaming in microphones that people should get back into the Democratic Party. They're not saying that overtly, but clearly if he's on stage with other Democrats, those Democrats want people back into the party. As I read this article is from The Hill, I started to have, I think, a better understanding of what's going on. Because I think a lot of Sanders supporters has had this thing of, what the hell is he doing? I don't like this. Like, I honestly, most of the people who I hear talk about Sanders, this is where they go. They could love the guy. All of this stuff is coming from this sense of, we love the guy. Why is he working with them? It's that type of feeling. It's that palpable. But I think I have context. Or at the very least, I think I can explain why all of this is taking place. Now, the question becomes, at the end of that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You may say, yes, I understand what Sanders is doing. No, he's not selling me out. But yes, it doesn't matter. Or you might say, well, yeah, I trust Sanders. That makes all the difference. Let's go through the story real quick first. The Democratic National Committee has finalized this Unity Commission roster, a group made up largely of supporters from Democratic presidential rivals Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders, now tasked with healing the party's divisions. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Look, those divisions go nowhere until you guys have some kind of honest conversation about what took place in the primaries. Because you need to understand, ultimately, from the time the primaries ended to now, you've avoided the conversation. Not just avoided the conversation, outright lied about it. So you spent months trying to deflect this thing that you guys cheated when it's clearly observable reality that you cheated. It's in black and white from Podesta emails. Not to mention, we have eyes. We have television. We have cable. We have YouTube. We can look at things taking place in these elections and show that you were cheating. You were cheating. Now, you never apologize for that. Ultimately, you told progressives that they were full of it. They needed to get in line. And for the most part, you berated our candidate. You berated our candidate. Even after the election when you lost, and progressives told you were going to lose, even after you lost, there was still no recollection of, oh man, maybe we shouldn't have cheated Sanders. Hell, you didn't even acknowledge that you cheated Sanders. You pivoted to Russia right off the bat. And essentially made the point that anybody who has anything bad to say is a Russian agent and a Russian operative, and is also, like Donald Trump, working for Putin. This is the ridiculousness that has been your party for the past 4 months. If you guys really want to heal these quote-unquote party divisions, and I would even say they're not party divisions, progressives don't consider themselves Democrats. They don't consider themselves Democrats. If you're trying to heal something that makes the assumption that those things are still attached, I can't heal my finger back to my hand if it's severed. Progressives don't consider themselves Democrats. They don't. Now, there will be a group of people who are not necessarily so far along that bandwagon of we need a new party that you guys may be able to climb back into the party. Fair enough. That may happen. Sanders, jump from country to country or state to state, may do that for you. Fair enough. But I'm going to give you a piece of advice. You're not going to take it, but I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you want to get those people, you have to be honest. You have to be honest. Like, whether you realize it or not, every time you're depriving people of their reality, meaning every time somebody has this thing of saying, well, look, I clearly saw 5 lights. I know I saw 5 lights. There were 5 lights. And you guys smugly get on one stage after another and said there were only 3. There were only 3 lights. No, seriously, there were only 3 lights. You're essentially telling us our appraisal of reality was wrong. Now, either our appraisal was wrong or you're lying. We already have the evidence that shows you're lying. So it makes it worse. It's one of those things, if you came out and said, oh, man, you were right. We shouldn't have did that. Yes, that's hard to do. Politically, that's hard to do. But that is the honest position. And I can almost guarantee you that starting from a place of base level fundamental integrity has a better chance of getting you those people back to that party than this pretending of, it wasn't rigged. She's the best candidate. We're with her. You guys are Bernie bros and sexists if you don't get behind her, and Trump is going to eat those babies and it's going to be your fault. And now, if you bring up the fact that Hillary lost, and if you bring up the fact that Sanders and everybody else said she was going to lose, you're a Russian agent. You're working for Putin. Look, it's just my advice. Integrity gets you a hell of a lot farther than lying about it and pretending that everybody else is wrong. All right, sorry for the tangent. So, yeah, I'm sorry for the tangent. I saw the thing of healing party divisions, and it's like, that's not one party. That's not one party. There hasn't been one party in a very long time. The progressives that have been in the Democratic Party, for the most part, have Stockholm Syndrome. They, for whatever reason, are so terrified of the boogeyman that's outside of their party that they will be complicit into things that are absolutely gross and disgusting and completely against their value system almost as much as the other party. That's changed. In this election, that changed. Because what took place in the primaries was so drastic and so shocking that they just couldn't bring themselves to vote for or to even be a part of the party itself. That's what you guys are running up against with this whole party division thing. You're running up against, to some degree, reality and hurt feelings. And hurt feelings. And those things are not going to be easily swept under the rug. I don't give a shit if you have Sanders with you or not. You're talking about hitting at somebody's base hopes, if that makes sense. This is not going to work unless you guys start with a fundamental level of integrity. So that's my advice. We're sorry. We shouldn't have did it. You were right. Sanders was the better candidate. We're going to implement policies and make sure that this never happen again, etc., etc., etc. And to not just say it, but to mean it. But to mean it. My catch is, I don't believe it. So it's a moot point whether you mean it or not. It just takes time to get those people back. Having one unit in commission or jumping around the country for 1 year or one term, it's not going to cut it. Anyway, Democrats created the framework for the committee at the July National Convention, choosing Democratic strategist Jennifer O'Malley Dillon as the chairwoman and Sanders' candidate confidant Larry Cohen as the vice chairman. The resolution called for Clinton, Sanders, and new DNC chair Tom Perez to fill out the remaining members by April 26. Now, this is a telling quote by Tom Perez. At the 2016 convention, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and national delegates agreed that in order to capture the energy of Democrats from across the country, it is critical that we enhance the nominating process that continues to embrace the big tent of our party. There is one bit of information that's important. At the 2016 convention, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and national delegates agreed that in order to capture the energy of the Democrats, Sanders is not even a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. Why is he trying to capture energy to put into the Democratic Party if he's not a Democrat? He's an independent. Let's keep going. I think I know why he's doing this, though, and I think that particular sentence gives a lot more context to his behavior. Sanders, he actually got some pretty decent people on here. So some of the names have already been made public, such as former Sanders campaign manager Jeff Weaver, Nebraska Democratic Party chairwoman Jane Klebb, and progressive journalist and activist Numita Kuntz. That's the woman from TYT. Senator picks also include Arab American Institute President Jim Zombie, Nevada State Legislature Lucy Flores, former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. I love me some Nina Turner. That woman is awesome. Former Berkeley, California Mayor Gus Newport. While the entire roster has been released, it is not immediately clear which members were chosen by Clinton or Perez. The remaining members include a mix of mostly Clinton staffers and longtime Democrats. So, let me see. I'll go through a few of these. Charlie Baker, former senior advisor Maya Harris, former delegate director David Hunn, former Nevada State Director Joel Neri, former Colorado State Director Emmy Ruiz. And of course, they're going to get more just because, Tom Perez, Hillary Clinton. I'm trying to see if there's anybody that jumps out at me. So, in reading this, I came to a conclusion. I said, Sanders' behavior in this context makes sense. Now, remember what took place during the primaries. Sanders had right-leaning votes. I think he got like almost 48% of the market share. Even despite what was taking place. He started at like 5%, something to that degree. Made up 60 points. And took 48% of the vote, I think. It was either 46 to 48% of the vote. And that's with cheating. She barely eked by, even though they were cheating in the process. Now, Sanders is a practical guy, for the most part. And he wants to get things done. Now, he's been functioning as, yes, an independent, but he caucuses with the Democratic Party. So if you're caucusing with the Democratic Party, you've been doing it for years. Your credibility at this point has gone through the roof. Your stock has gone through the roof. You know that you can't get anything done by yourself. At least not in the sense of getting other people, moving other people around to achieve your agenda. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you take certain actions to try to pull people over to your side or to gain leverage over people? Probably yes. I mean, you have two options. He can either say, screw it, I'm going third party, and I'm going to run and try to tear both of those parties down and put my legislative will, somewhat of a Batman approach to politics. You can do that. In fact, I would have preferred him to do that. The other method is to work within the machine itself to get those results. So he comes with 46% of the vote. He has a massive following of people who are worshiping that man, like absolutely worshiping him. And he comes to the bargaining table. If you remember, he didn't give her his support right away. It took a while for him to give her support. And they were having these meetings back and forth and all this other stuff. And eventually, of course, he came out and was crying on the stage of the DNC and gave the support. Is it possible that the reason it took all that time and the reason they ended up giving support in that way, is it possible that the reason why he's been functioning as a Democrat, as I've been saying, he's functioning like a Democrat, towing this line about Russia and everything else, is it possible that he believes that he has some influence in the party now, based upon these type of agreements? Like, at the convention itself, at the, I can't think of the name of the thing, where they were making the rules. It was like they were making convention rules. Sanders was able to put people on that rule board. He had put like Cornel West on that board. It was absolute lions that Sanders put on that board. It fought for everything they can get their hands on in regards to the platform of the Democratic Party. Yes, that platform is going to get ignored on day one. That's not really the point. Is it possible that what he's doing is trying to put structures in place to be more apt to get his agenda through, if that makes sense? So yeah, he's going to put that stuff in the platform because he wants something to hold Democrats to, at the very least in writing. Yes, he's going to put people on these boards. And again, according to this document, they negotiated this at the convention. So all of that time that it took, all those back and forth meetings and everything else, ultimately, maybe this was what that was about. Yes, I will function in a way that's going to help you to resist Trump. And I'm going to try to marshal all of these people who support me and who view me with integrity to help you to try to defeat Trump. But in order to do that, there are certain things I want. For instance, I want to be able to have people on the platform. I want to be able to have people in this particular delegation to make choices on how the DNC operates. The question becomes, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, even if I'm right, and that's true, that he's making agreements, and he's, like any other agreement, no agreements are all of one way. There's no situation where he can say, I want you guys to help me doing this, but I'm not going to do anything for you. That doesn't work that way. He may feel like my best chance of getting anything accomplished is by getting a certain level of notoriety by functioning this way. Meaning, if you're the outreach coordinator for the Democratic Party, You're everywhere. Everybody sees you. You are on talk shows left and right. Even if the Democratic Party was looking to use you and manipulate you in that way, do you get enough people who are devoted to you and make a distinction between you as an individual? Meaning, do they see Bernie Sanders as the individual, as separate and distinct from the Democratic Party itself? And do you get enough of those people where it gives you a certain political clout to affect the party? Meaning it's almost like the tail wagging the dog. Like, because you have such gravitas in that way, because all those people who are getting back into the party, they're getting back into the party based off of Sanders. Does he carry sway in that way? And maybe that's the crux of this conversation. Like, maybe all of this boils down to this plan of, yeah, I'm going to be outreach coordinator because I want to get my ideas across all over the country. And if these Democrats want to assist me in that, then they can assist me in that. If they don't want to assist me in that, then yeah, I'm going to have bad things to say about them. And because I got these people into this party, those people will listen. That's the best case I got for them. I mean, as I look at this, it just seems like they made certain deals. And I would wager that in pursuing those deals, because why would Sanders have people on this commission? Yes, it's a unity commission. But that unity commission, I would almost wager, like she said, it happened at the convention. That was at the convention. So they full well understood what was going on in regards to the division within the party itself, even at the convention itself. So it's possible that Sanders made a deal. It's possible he made a deal. The things that he's doing now is pursuant to that deal of influence in the party. Like I said, I asked the question again, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You could say, well, yeah, he got influence in the party, but so what? He's not going to get anything from it. I have to be honest, I kind of lean on that side. I just think if you have somebody, if he's on stage with the Democrats, that gives light to the Democrats. Meaning, even if those people get into the party, those people are probably going to be more tribal in that way. I don't necessarily know if him bringing them in that way purely translates into power or will within the party. In fact, I'm inclined to believe it doesn't. I don't like this indirect, it's like indirect force or something like that, when I don't necessarily think he needs to play an indirect game in that way. But I suppose he's doing what he thinks is right. I mean, me not liking it doesn't necessarily mean that he's wrong. It's just me not liking it. I don't necessarily want... Look, I've said it before. I don't want people getting back into their party. I think our best chance to solve any of the issues that we have in this particular country is not done through those parties. I think those parties are the problem. If he wants to work through that process, he's working through that process alone. I would hope progressives see it for what it is and leave him to his devices if he's going to do that. Now, I don't know. We'll see. We'll follow the story. We'll see how much traction it gets. I just have a hard time believing progressives are going to turn around and vote Democrat again, even with Sanders in that role. I think some would. I just think there would be a significant number who would just balk at this idea and would see Sanders, for the most part, as being somewhat of a sellout in that process. I honestly do. And this is not me saying he's a sellout. This is saying the way it's going to be cast. I think it's going to be perceived that way. You must understand, it's power-based. There are constraints on power. In every situation, there are usually constraints. Those constraints are created by the people who are putting that person in power. Sanders' power-based. The reason why Sanders is Bernie Sanders is because of the millions of people that love what he was saying when he opened his mouth. If he's opening his mouth for somebody else and words are coming out that those people know is not indicative of the Sanders that they love, that support is going to peel away. And if you look at some of the boards, if you look at some of the social media, that support erodes. It erodes. The closer he gets to the party, the less support he gets. Yes, he's still fantastically popular. Democrats are like 30%. Sanders is blowing them out the water. That's not the point I'm getting at. It's people need him to be an independent. And if he's functioning as a Democrat, it just looks bad. Progressives have certain feelings about the Democratic Party. Sanders, affiliating himself with that party, gets a negative taint on Sanders, at least in my experience. Even by me, and I love the guy. So I'll leave it at there. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the content, feel free to share, subscribe, and you can always support the work through Patreon. Thank you.